Troy Vincent, Executive Vice President of Football Operations. I guess through time, and football has been my life. I'm a football lifer, I'm a football junkie. Football coaches, owners, great men and women in the front office, over time, impacted my life. I'm a lifetime learner, and that's one thing I share with my 5 children, as well as all the young men and women that I mentor, become a lifetime learner, and knowing what education can do for you. So while I was in high school, I knew that my way out was through my education, not through my athleticism. Athletics allowed me a platform to go and have someone else pay for my education. Well, I'm into people skills, so the first thing I look at is the heart of the man or the heart of the woman. Do you care? And we like to say inside of our locker room, if you don't love them, you can't lead them. Because the athlete sometimes could be very finicky. I look for people who care, people who are much smarter than I am. You know, everyone on my staff, we all have different skill sets. We all complement one another. And I think that's important. I don't want a lot of people that are necessarily aligned with me, but bring a different perspective and that can add a different type of value than what I bring. Well, one of the things during my time as a player, seeing how players transition into the game and seeing how players transition away from the game, as well as coaches. Seeing how coaches were going from either job to job or staff was being let go and coaches trying to find their way. But really my passion really came out of just watching how players transition to the game, what's a successful transition? Is it really being a first round pick or signing a mega contract? Now, money's not going to make you happy. And then watching how my fellow colleagues transition away from the game, where the game of football was everything to them. Not realizing that once you finish, there was another 50 or 60 years of life ahead of you. Putting in programs and creating resources to support players, to support all front office personnel was important to me. I think it's important to the National Football League. I know it's important to my colleagues that we provide the essential resources and a development platform so that people could develop skills that are transferable. Well, it's a National Football League, so you would hope. The game is built on its players and its coaches. And now when I had the opportunity to come in 2010 under the leadership of Commissioner Goodell, I was inside of player engagement. You know, that was my wheelhouse of developing players as they transition into the game, as they look to transition out of the game. And then 4 years later, another opportunity presented itself. And it wasn't something I was thinking about at the time. Some things had transpired in the office, and it gave me this opportunity to come in, see it differently. I understood some of the concerns and the challenges that we were having. I just say inside of football. But knowing that the focus should be on the game. The game is what draws people. The game is what fills the stadium, because you have the best athletes in the world, the best football players in the world, and the best coaches, the best general managers, and frankly, the best owners. And when you put all of those things together, we have to preserve that. And now I'm at a place where I have the opportunity to be a gatekeeper, a contributor to the game. You know, we talk about to the former athlete or the current athlete, I was once an active participant. Today I'm an active contributor. Oh, absolutely. And I must credit the staff. I mean, I don't do this alone. Tremendous staff around me. We're always challenging one another. And as an athlete, you've always been measured. Did you win the play or did you lose it? And that's my management style. Love constructive criticism. But Commissioner Goodell is always talking about looking into the future. How do we get better, not becoming complacent? You know, daily we're looking at, okay, where did we win? Where did we lose? And how do we get better? Again, that's how I manage. That's how the team sees it. How do we get better? Keep looking into the future, constantly working on those things to sharpen our skills and support the clubs. Well, there were always programs to develop people and collective thoughts, collective minds. As I transitioned to this new position, football is strong because of its people, because of its history, its heritage. And we wanted to create a pipeline, but an uninterrupted pipeline of people, not just players, general managers, coaches, officials, field managers, trainers. Football is strong because of its people. So we want to make sure that we were establishing programs, symposiums that developed individuals long term. Well, when you look at the Career Development Symposium, it's bringing the greatest minds that have ever either coached, managed, or played the game together. That's your professor. That's the best professor. That's the best teacher of football. When you can bring the likes of Charlie Cassery, John Wooten, Ron Wolf, when you start bringing in the Ernie Corsias, these people, these individuals have built football. They've hired some of the best coaches that we've seen. They've managed some of the best teams. They've built dominant franchises. So the symposium was to bring the collective minds, almost 100 years of football knowledge together, identifying people that are at that next level of their professional careers, identifying who's next in line, who should we be preparing for the next offensive coordinator position, the next defensive coordinator position, the next head coach, the next general manager, the next team president. So the symposium is a collective thoughts, collective minds of bringing all of the past, all of the present, and looking into the future. Well, our Combine series, the objective there is to make sure that those student athletes have the opportunity to be seen by our scouts. Everyone's not going to be invited to the National Combine. We look at our Veteran Combine. In every professional athlete's life, the body has shelf life. And there are many different variables that come in why people transition away from the game, whether it's injury, age. But the Veteran Combine, there are still many veterans that want another additional shot. We believe that the Veteran Combine, in some cases, you have all 32 teams represented, looking at those who had already been on the roster, had tremendous experience, but also as a way to bring closure. Bring closure to many that I just need that one more shot. I want one more scout to see me. I can still run. I can still do these things. It's also an opportunity for us to share the resources that these men have earned through their tenure. Many of them are vested veterans. It's an opportunity for us to share with them that we are a community, and that just because your playing days are behind you does not mean that life ends. That the National Football League is still not part of your family. And then again, those regional combines. If I can emphasize that, you have the smaller schools. This gives that student athlete or that draft prospect an opportunity to be seen. He's still looking, he's still dreaming, and we want him to know that he still has an opportunity. When you looked at rosters, most of the rosters in the National Football League, teams are made up of young men from Division II, Division III schools. One thing that we do is we find talent in the National Football League. Our scouts are the best of the best. And our Combine series allows everyone an opportunity to be seen. Well, I think it's an additional place for our scouts to go to and evaluate talent. Most are going to the same places, the same regions, but our regional combines give them another opportunity for another pool of players to look into. Well, there's nothing like a mature athlete. When you get a young man that has spent 4 years, 5 years on campus physically and mentally, he's just a much more mature athlete, a much more mature man. You have to be special to come out early, young. What we advise with our college advisory committee is we just want to make sure that we're sharing with young men that there's nothing like maturity. And we want to make sure that these young men have an honest evaluation. Isn't something that they read in a magazine, because it could be a life-altering decision. Once you leave school, many don't have the opportunity to go back and finish their education. And if they leave school and they don't get drafted, what are they left? So we want to make sure at the National Football League that we're giving them an honest evaluation. We give first, second round grades, and then we just share with the young man as our recommendation that you stay in school, mature, finish your education. That's what it's all about. It's about giving young people a chance to win in life, not just football. Oh, it's the ultimate life. When you think about the values of football, which we don't talk about enough and we need to, what football teaches you, the lessons learned from football: tenacity, perseverance, integrity, honor. All of these things are life lessons that lend into successful people in life. These are characteristics of successful people. It's what football is all about. It's what coaches teach you from high school, Pop Warner, at the collegiate level. My greatest teachers, my greatest life lessons were taught by my football coaches. Well, football's strong. When you look at the communities across the country on Friday night, and look at how football galvanizes communities on Friday night, then you look at the college stadiums and the college atmospheres on Saturday, and then the professional stadiums on Sunday, Monday, and Thursday nights. Football is strong. Football today is a much safer sport. We're learning. We continue to learn. We continue to invest money into research and making sure that the game is safer, not softer. We have more people aligned. We're bringing in experts from the medical field. We're collaborating with the military. There's so much more that we're learning about the body, about practice schedule. We're implementing things that make the game better for all.